Thank you very much for those kind words, Alan, and thank you, Duncan, for being a brilliant Director of Elections, and thanks to all my PLP colleagues, Marie Sherlock, Rebecca Moynihan, Aon O'Riordan and local councillor Mary Freehill for coming along today. Thanks to my mum, who's here, Rena, and Dermot Ryan, who's the campaign manager, Kevin Humphreys, Billy Sparks, and all of you have come along from Labour. And just to say, we've got an amazing team already. This is the official campaign launch, but we've actually been campaigning for what now feels like months, maybe certainly weeks, since Owen Murphy announced his resignation. So we've had a really great feedback, really great positive feedback from the doors. We've got an amazing team together, both Labour and indeed non-Labour, people who I know from the area, friends, family, and people who just want to be part of this campaign. So we're delighted to be launching it formally today and to be announcing our campaign priorities, because wherever we go across Dublin Bay South, from Ringsend right across through Ranelagh Rathmines to Kimmage to Portobello where I live, we hear the same 4 issues coming up on doors, coming up on where we meet people, socially distanced of course. And those issues are housing, and we know the government has failed on housing because we're hearing it all the time. The developer-led model that's being promoted by Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil and this government has simply failed to deliver the homes that people need. And what we're seeing is a lack of supply and unaffordable rents, lack of security of tenure for tenants, and we in Labour, as Alan has said, are putting forward an alternative vision, a public vision, a vision that's based on social democratic principles, that the state must deliver homes for people, that housing is a right and that people deserve security of tenure, affordable rents, fixed rents. We're calling for a rent freeze for 3 years. What the government are calling for today is just another piecemeal change that won't actually fix things for the majority of people that we're meeting. It won't make homes more affordable and that won't give people security of tenure. So we're calling for radical change in housing, and that's our first priority. But we also are hearing about 3 other key issues that are coming up. On care policies, something close to my heart as a parent and as a daughter, childcare. People across the constituency, parents unable to get affordable creche places, unable to get quality childminding services. We need to fix that. Labour have been calling for years now for a universal public childcare system, for childcare to be provided to all, high quality childcare with decent wages paid to those working in the sector. But we're also calling for a new care model for older people too. A new fair deal scheme that would provide supports to older people who wish to remain in their own home, rather than prioritising institutional care. Just today, Ombudsman Peter Tyndall saying for too long Irish governments have relied on institutional care and congregated settings. We need to move away from that, and I've been pushing for a new fair deal. It would answer so many of the needs of people living in this area and beyond. And I'm also working, I should say, with local parents groups on more ASD classes in the area. Huge issue for those who have children with autism. There's a serious lack of places, particularly in Dublin 6 and Dublin 6 West. That's a big issue locally. In terms of climate, the third issue, I'm somebody who's championed environmental issues for a long time, a committed cyclist, as many of you know, and also a regular sea swimmer, one of those annoying sea swimmers who swam all through the winter in Dublin Bay. So we're going to be promoting a new plan for Dublin Bay. Myself and Duncan are working on it currently to promote and enhance water quality and ensure better public access to this amazing amenity on our doorstep here in this constituency and other constituencies. We're also working on cycling infrastructure, and we're working also just to promote a new green agenda, a green agenda that looks at just transition and that actually seeks to promote policies that will really tackle climate change. I should say back in 2007, when I was first elected to the Seanad, I introduced the first climate protection bill in the Seanad, and I was a founding member of Friends of the Earth Ireland on the first board. So it's something that I've always adhered to for a long time. And finally, in this constituency, we're calling for better public amenities, better community facilities. Huge issue in Portobello, where I live, but huge issue across the constituency. Mary Freehill and I are working to try and ensure more publicly accessible pitches for local sports clubs like Ranelagh Gaels, rapidly growing clubs that simply have no decent facilities for children to play sports on. Huge issue in the area. So we're working on those 4 key priorities, on housing, on care, on climate and on community. And I'm also standing on my own track record as somebody who has delivered change, who has introduced legislation successfully, and who has worked on so many equality campaigns over the years, on repeal, on marriage equality, on LGBT rights and women's rights. And finally, just to say, as Alan and Duncan have said, this election is a very serious election for the people of Dublin Bay South and beyond, and it's simply disrespectful to voters to paint it as an either-or contest between a sort of Punch and Judy alternatives. What we're hearing from people is that they want somebody who's a serious legislator, who is committed to introducing real solutions to tackle those 4 issues that are so key and so important for the people who live in this area and beyond. So we're going to be campaigning really hard over what we think will just be about 4.5 weeks, and we're getting great feedback and great response, and we know we can win this seat. So Gura Mahagwave Galer, thanks for coming along today, and I know if there's any questions, I think Cathal is going to, or Duncan, will MC.